Good morning and welcome to the second annual Clay County Workforce Development Summit. We appreciate everybody taking the time to be here. We've got a great crowd. We've got a great set of speakers, and we've got some really exciting things that are going on here in Clay County. And by the way, I'm Crawford Powell. I'm president of Clay County Economic Development Corporation. And so with Laura's impassioned work, she's put on a great summit here today. So thank you, Laura, on that. Historically, when we're doing economic development, site location was the most important aspect of what we had. Where we have sites, and are they ready to go? About 5 years ago, workforce became parallel to sites as far as the immediate need for employers to have a viable, employable workforce that's trained. And so today we're here to discuss what we're doing locally in Clay County and also in the region as far as workforce development and workforce training goes throughout the area. Workforce is critical not only for existing industry, but also for new industry looking at our community. We have a robust group of community partners joining us today. And when I call your name, if you'll just kind of raise your hand, actually that's our inexpensive way of doing roll call to make sure all our speakers are here. But so with us today is Dr. Anna Lebesch, with Senior Vice President, Strategy and Talent Development for JAXUSA Partnership. Sitting next to her is Mr. Bruce Ferguson, President CEO of CareerSource, Northeast Florida. Ms. Carolyn Krall, President CEO of Clay Education Foundation. Ms. Kelly Mosley, Supervisor of Community and Business Partnerships for Clay District Schools Career and Technical Education Training Program. That's a mouthful, Kelly. So Mr. Michael Rathjen, Vice President of School Programs for VyStar Credit Union, also the Vice Chair of the Clay Educational Foundation and one of our board members. Ms. Kimberly Richardson, Chief Human Resources Officer, Clay County Utility Authority. Mr. Zach Moore, Operations Manager of Garber Auto. Ms. Rachel Walker, Adult Continuing Education Coordinator for Clay County District Schools. Mr. Nate Southerland, Assistant Vice President for Workforce Education, St. John's River State College. Mr. Charlie Libretto, Training Director of Northeast Florida Builders Association. And Ms. Katie Vineyard, Chief Operations Officer for Challenge Enterprises. Wow. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate your attendance. We appreciate your support of this event. A little bit of housekeeping. We do have a pretty full schedule. If you need to excuse yourself to step out to take a call, to handle any business, please feel free to step out. If you need another cup of coffee, please feel free to go to the back. The buffet will be in the back also if you come and go and need additional resources there. If we have the opportunity, we will take a seventh inning stretch sometime this morning if the agenda is moving forward. Please continue to do what you need to do as far as coming and going throughout the event. Today is about challenges and solutions that we are facing, about reducing the redundancy and maximizing the resources and opportunities. The big thing we want you to say is you're going to see some really neat programs that are going on throughout Clay County. We hope you are encouraged by what you see, but we also hope you are kind of pushed a little bit by, hey, they're doing something really cool. Hey, how can we do that? How can we step into that? Because the more that we step into this as a community, the stronger we will be as a community. And with that, I would like to open up with our first speaker, Dr. Anna Lebesch with JAXUSA Partnership.
Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing this morning? Are you in mourning like me over the Jaguars' loss last night? Please forgive me. I'm a little blurry-eyed because I was at the game last night, and unfortunately, we did not walk away winners, and we hope Trevor is not injured too badly. Just to give us a perspective this morning, how many of you represent business and industry in the room? Great number. How many of you are nonprofits? Okay, and rest education? kind of education? Wonderful. That's great to share. I just wanted to get a perspective of who's in the audience today. As Crawford said, my name is Anna Lebesch, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Strategy and Talent at JAXUSA Partnership. And just to give you a perspective, JAXUSA Partnership is the regional economic development partnership for Northeast Florida. So we work with 7 counties in Northeast Florida, Clay County being one of our great partners in economic development. And I'm a little biased for Clay County because I'm a longtime Clay County resident. And so really call Clay County my home. And love when I have the opportunity to come and work and support everything that's happening in Clay County. But as Crawford already alluded to, we just completed our 5-year strategic plan. And typically in economic development, the strategic planning process starts with business growth. Because what our mission is really to make sure that our region, our counties have economic growth and economic mobility for all. And in previous plans, the number one goal started with business growth. But in this 5-year plan, our number one goal starts with talent development. That's talent development, that's recruitment of talent into our region, and that's also retention of talent. And so what I want to do this morning is give you a bit of perspective first on what's happening in the talent landscape, and then talk about some of the programming that we have to support both that talent recruitment, development, and growth for the region. You probably already sense this just by the nature of living in this region, but we are a region that is growing faster than the rest of the state and the rest of the country. And we are projected to continue to grow at those rates for the next 10 years. We are a region that has a workforce of probably over 900,000 at this point. We are known for our military personnel and the value that our military personnel and veterans bring to the workforce in the region. We are often the most requested last duty station for military. And so that's a great opportunity in terms of the workforce for not only the veterans who are retiring, who often retire with a lot of great technical skills, but also their spouses and their children who tend to have interest in areas that their parents worked in as well. We're younger than the rest of the state. I know some days I don't feel that, but it's glad to see that we are younger than the rest of the state. We are not what's considered the retirement communities of Florida. And we also are one of the best job markets, as illustrated by the Wall Street Journal. When we talk about growth, we are bringing in about 110 new people every day into this region. You probably feel that, you probably see that around you. And here's where some of the top migration areas are, where people are moving from. Not surprisingly, New York. A lot are moving up from South Florida, but then you see DC and Atlanta, along with then you start seeing the Midwest with Chicago there as well. So some of the trends and these are really important for fulfilling our workforce needs, as you're going to see in a minute when I talk about what is happening with our future workforce. So we are not going to solve our workforce challenges just by growing more workforce. We need our population to grow. This is what it looks like for our region, where the region is growing. And you can see where Clay sits right now at 1.5% average population growth. We anticipate, and you can see just surrounding, there's kind of a reason why you see St. John's, Clay, and Nassau being some of the faster growers is because those are 3 of the top 10 school districts in the state, in our region. And that certainly is a factor that impacts our growth and our continued growth in the region. When we look at what we're focusing on in terms of industry and where we need the talent in particular, these are the targeted industries for the region: transportation and logistics, advanced manufacturing, life sciences, technology services, financial services, and corporate operations. You'll also see that we focus on niche industries as well. And when we're working with our colleges and universities in the region, when we're working with our school districts, we're very specifically talking about how do we grow the pipeline that we need for these targeted industries. Because these are the industries that are growing. If you look over the last 4 years, you'll see where the most jobs were developed in project. These are the projects. These are new companies coming in or existing companies that are expanding. And these are the areas that are growing in job opportunities. Now, you may question life sciences a little bit because you see all the hospitals expanding here. When we're working projects, as economic developers, we don't consider when the hospital adds another facility as part of our projects. That's part of those 2 to 3 indirect jobs that you see growing as a result of those direct jobs coming in. So your teachers, your healthcare providers, those are indirect jobs that are also results of those direct jobs that are coming in. Just this past year, we had a strong focus on advanced manufacturing and transportation and logistics with significant growth in those 2 industries. And we anticipate that continuing to happen. And we also anticipate that you're going to see this more in Clay County as well, especially with the completion of the First Coast Expressway. The resources we have with the expressway, with the interstates, and the port are a big factor as to why those areas are growing for us. But talent really is the new currency. Talent is the reason why companies come here. Yes, you've got to have the sites, but I can tell you unequivocally, if we cannot demonstrate that we have the talent or that we are growing that talent, we cannot compete in these projects. It is extremely helpful for us that I have the relationships that we do with our career and technical ed programs, because I speak all the time about how not only are we helping you get the workforce you need today to open your doors, but we're also working with all of our school districts to build that pipeline for the long term. And why is that so important? Well, one of the reasons that it's so important is it's not going to get easier. There are simply fewer people to do the jobs that we have to do. And that is not going to change. The birth rate has been declining for quite some time. And so we can encourage people to go out there and have more children, but that's kind of a long-term strategy. So if anybody wants to, help with that, we won't complain about that. But the reality is there are just not as many young people as there are older people. And so we have to start thinking differently about how do we develop our talent and how do we partner together in that development of that talent. One of the things that's also trend that is happening is 16 and 19-year-olds are not working. And they're not working for many different reasons. Some of them are because as parents, we've decided that we want to keep them actively involved in sports and academics and a variety of different extracurricular activities to where they simply don't have time to work. We need to encourage our youth to begin working at a younger age. And we need to help them to do that. We also have disconnected youth in our communities. And disconnected youth are those youth that are not in school, they're not high school graduates, and they're unemployed. They're not in the labor force. And so when we look at that disconnected youth population nationally, it's at 2.5%. Clay's a little below that. It's at 2.3% of disconnected youth. But we also need to look at how do we get those disconnected youth into our workforce, because they will also be the part of the workforce solutions into the future. One of our challenges is that we as a society have been promoting this college for all attitude for quite some time. And what that does is it really diminishes the opportunities for all of our youth. When you look at the statistics, I looked at the region, and over the last 12 months, there were 142,000 job postings posted over the last 12 months using some of the research tools that we have. What percentage of those do you think actually required a bachelor's degree or higher? 25, close, pretty close. It was 22%. Only 22% of those 142,000 jobs required a bachelor's degree or higher. So we really need to be rethinking the conversations that we have with our youth. We really need to be helping them understand that there are a lot of great opportunities for you that don't require you to get a bachelor's degree. And this is what's happening with our students. They're feeling the pressure to get a college degree, even if that's not what they want to do. And I've heard that from youth themselves. They're also saying they want to get the college experience. Well, oftentimes that college experience comes with a significant cost, either to the parent or to the individual who then has student loans. And there's this perception that you can't earn good money without going on to get a 4-year degree. So we really need to look at how do we message this to our students. We really need to message earlier and earlier with them. And if you're an employer out there, one of the things I'm going to share with you is you really need to be getting in front of these students at an earlier age. They need to know who you are. They need to know what you do, because they can't dream what they can't see. And most kids only know a few things. They probably only know a handful of occupations. And that is not representative of what your needs are and what the opportunities are for them. One of the things that we do at JAXUSA, and you can pull up your phone, and in fact, I encourage all of you to do it right now. This is my way of cheating, because when you're bored later, you can go back to this on your phone and look around it. One of the things that we're doing at JAXUSA is what we call our Earn Up campaign. EarnUp.org is a website and a campaign that we have developed that supports all of the regional industries. And so you see the targeted industries up there, and then under support industries, there are 9 other industries under the support industries, from everything from education to construction to public service, all of 9 other ones under that area. We have developed career pathway information and career information on this website that we utilize with our school districts, our nonprofits, and our community. I have team members that go out and train other people on how to use these resources. We also train other people on them. We also have lesson plans that our educators use that go along with this website as well. One of the things we're also always looking for, and this is a way for you to get involved with it as well, we're always looking for ways of spotlighting our employers on there. Each of the career pathways has links to employers. It also has spotlights of individual people who are working in particular jobs in companies. And it's that individual connection that's really important for demonstrating and helping students to explore what different jobs are out there. So if that's something of interest to you, and I encourage you to connect with me, we're happy to highlight your company on there. The other thing about the College for All attitude is most non-professional jobs, like the skilled trades, really suffer from a marketing problem. We need to demonstrate that they're just as valuable to us as someone who's got their bachelor's degree in finance. I certainly know that when I need an electrician, when I need a plumber, all of those things, it is really hard to get them on the phone as quickly as you want to, because there's such demand for them. We should value those types of trades just as much as we value other positions that require the college degree. Another important solution that we really need to look at is how do we grow our internships and our apprenticeship programs. I know you're going to hear some great examples today. Be thinking about those examples and how you could apply that in your own organization. Even if you just start with one intern position, you are building that future workforce. And you know, that one intern that has a really good experience at your organization is going to tell their friends about it, and then their friends are going to know about your organization. So if you start with just one, we can help you with that. One of the things that we're doing is we have a whole internship section on that EarnUp website. It's called Connect to Companies. Invest in your company's future by investing in theirs. We're building resource tools for employers. So if you've never done an internship before, we've got resource tools that we can share with you that can help you in building that internship. We have also worked one-on-one with companies to help kind of help them plan their talent strategy. Because what I talk to companies about today is you need to have not just that short-term strategy of hiring today, but you really need to be developing that long-term strategy. Are you going to work with the school districts? Do you want to work with colleges? How do you want to build your program? And that's extremely important because you need to show them what the job is like. You need to tell them the job's value to our community and then mentor them to show them that you care about them as an individual and their individual development. I know I wouldn't be standing here today if it were not for individuals who mentored me, who challenged me, and really took an interest in my development. And so that's my challenge to all of you today, is if you walk out of here today with one thing in mind, it's how do you have that impact on someone else? And once you start with one, think about how can you grow it to 2 and then grow it to 3. That will be one of the solutions for building our future workforce. Thank you for having me here this morning, and I'll be here for a while if you have any questions or want to talk anymore. Next, I'm going to turn it over to Bruce Ferguson, CEO of CareerSource, Northeast Florida. Bruce?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Anna. What a great message. I'm going to echo some of that as we go through our presentation. So I am Bruce Ferguson. I'm the president and CEO of CareerSource Northeast Florida. We are the regional workforce board serving the 6-county area. So you'll see it's very much the same footprint as JAXUSA. We work very closely with all of our county economic development partners and have for years now. But as Crawford said in his lead off, talent is really like the number one concern for businesses that are expanding, that are here, that are expanding, and businesses that are looking at the area to come in. So we do kind of serve as that talent component of economic development. We're here to help link you as a business community with your workforce through helping you recruit, retain, and reskill and upskill your workforce. We also work closely with our education partners, folks in transportation, so that we kind of understand the whole talent ecosystem. How are we going to get folks to jobs, and where are the jobs, and those sorts of things. From a serving business perspective, we have a tool that the state provides for us. It's our state job matching system called Employ Florida. We manage job orders there. So as a business, if you have a job, just a quick question. How many people have a really easy time hiring a new staff member today? All right, we got one. How many have a difficult time? All right, okay. And that goes back to a lot about what Anna was talking about. We don't have the workers. They're all working, but we'll get into some of those stats there in a little bit. But within that Employ Florida database, we do have a whole database of people that are either working and looking for a new job, or they're just looking for a job. So we try to match those folks with the job orders that we have. We do outreach to them to let them know when a new job order in their particular field hits the market there. We also offer specific employer recruitments. So we have 7 career centers, 1 in each county, 2 in Duval, and we regularly host recruitment events in those career centers. So if you're interested in that, I'll have a slide at the end. We can get you connected with our business services department if you're interested in doing that. We also have, because we know time is of the essence, we have monthly virtual career fairs so that you can stay in your office, or your HR can stay in the office and yet still participate in one of these virtual job fairs. And then we also do in-person events with multiple companies throughout the year. So that's just kind of the matching, the person-to-person or the person-to-job deal. One of the other ways that we can assist is through customized training. So we have funds that we can assist businesses to grow your own talent. We know that your skill requirements change. They change a lot faster today than they have in the past. So we can sit down with our business services department if you have a particular job or Let's say you need your staff to have a new certification in order to compete for various government contracts. We've done that before. We can assist with offsetting some of those costs of training. And that helps you upskill your workforce. It helps you get increased competitiveness and productivity out of them. It may result in some job growth if your business picks up. And then it helps you with employee retention. When you're helping develop your own workforce and move them up, folks are a lot more willing to stick with you. From an employee perspective, hey, they're getting new certifications. Hopefully that opens up career advancement opportunities within your own company. And many times it involves increased wages. As a few examples, customized training can also include apprenticeships. Anna mentioned we have a real focus on apprenticeships, on growing your own. One of the most interesting ones, and it's not always, electricians and plumbers and all that's what we think when we think about apprenticeships. But we recently did a project, and we're now in the second phase with Flagler Hospital, which is now UF Hospital in St. Johns County, for surgical technicians. They're really short on surge techs. And we helped them. They identified 7 people that were already employed with them in food service and in other non-patient contact positions, but had an interest in getting into that. And we helped them develop a year-long apprenticeship program. They started at $16 an hour for their first 6 months, which was a raise from where they were. In the second 6 months of the program, they went to $17 an hour. When they graduated as certified technicians, they were at $22 an hour. So some of those folks went from a $13 and $14 an hour job to a year later, a $22 an hour job. That's growing your own. And that gets a lot of buy-in. They had a record number of applicants for round 2. They just started back in September, their second round. So there are a lot of different ways to make apprenticeship and make employer-based training work for you. So Anna talked a little bit about kind of some of those big picture statistics. These are our October numbers. We'll get November in a week from this Friday. But you can see, comparing to year over year, we have increased the unemployment rate by about a half a point, 0.5 for the region, up to 3.1%. This is actually encouraging because part of the driver of this is that more people are coming into the labor force. There have been a lot of folks that have been kind of sitting on the sidelines for whatever reason, but they're coming back in. So now it shows your unemployment rate up a little bit. So that's not a bad thing. It's still at historical lows. Your average, based on economists, should be in the 4 to 5% range. That's just generally churn in the workforce. So we are well below that. And this is getting dangerously tiny type, but this is total employment growth over the year and over the month. If you go all the way back to January of 2020, total employment in our region was about 729,000 people. That's that top left blue number. We have grown that now just a year and 3 quarters later to 817,000 net jobs in the region. So that's a big jump. And just from October of last year, that's 31,000 net new jobs in this region. You go, well, how are we getting all of those jobs filled? And it's back to what Anna said. It's in migration of people coming in that are allowing us to keep filling those jobs. We don't have the workforce here. They're coming here. And you can see growth through every industry except for information and, quote, other services is pretty robust. Educational business services is always very high, 8,400 net new jobs in that. Leisure and hospitality has finally reached the level that it was pre-pandemic for our region. And wholesale retail trade are all growing really strongly. we want to get down into some kind of drill down into Clay specific. From a population standpoint, we've grown about 1.8% from 2021 to 22, 4,000 more people in Clay County. The region as a whole has added over 35,000 individuals. So that's important. That 2.1%, I think, is a very sustainable growth rate on the whole. I mean, you see some variation. St. John's, of course, is still growing faster than anybody in the region. They're one of the fastest growing counties in the nation. But Nassau County also is growing at a pretty high rate. How does that translate? When we look at our average annual wages, you can see across the board a very significant jump from 21 to 22. And I think that's indicative of the wage pressures that you saw as businesses, the inflation rate over that time period, and it's certainly already reflected in these average annual wages. From a labor force perspective, almost 120,000 workers here in Clay County. We all know that a good number of those exit the county every day to go to work. There's also a good number that come into the county to go to work as well. So unemployment rate, you can see, is very low with only 3,500 definitionally unemployed. You have to count in that number of unemployed, you have to be actively looking for work. If you're just sitting on the sidelines, you're not looking for a job, you're not by definition unemployed. You have to be looking for work. And this is kind of a long-term trend. You see the huge spike, of course, during the pandemic, but then we are now all the way back down to pre-pandemic numbers. You can see that slight uptick, but again, that's not bothersome. That's getting actually to a more normal level of unemployment. And then there's a longer-term trend on wages. For Clay County, that's the blue line. The black line is for the U.S. So we're outpacing the U.S. in terms of wage growth in the county. All right, and this is the really tiny one, but it's as good as it gets. When we look at by industry where the growth is, we're looking at healthcare and social assistance is up there at the top, and it also has one of the top wages at a little over $57,000. Retail trade, no surprise for us, is a close second. Accommodations and food services are also up there. To go to the last slide, though, these are, when we look at the job orders in the area, and this is not just in our Employ Florida system, this is in an aggregate of the various job boards. These are active job ads right now by industry and by occupation. Look at retail. Retail runs the show. Not surprising for Clay. It's a strong retail-based economy here. And those are actually now some of the hardest jobs to fill. They're on the lower skill part, they're on the lower wage part, and you see as we go into restaurants, the ways that businesses are combating that by having, pay at your table, order at the kiosk, and all those kind of things are part of it. So current job postings are at 2,400. Those are active that we're working. So doesn't necessarily represent every job that's out there, but the ones that we're most closely tracking, that's it. So I'd be glad to answer any questions. I don't know, Laura, if you want to do that. I think I got a couple minutes. All right, thank you very much. I now want to introduce Carolyn Krall. She is the President and CEO of the Clay Education Foundation.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Carolyn Krall. I'm the CEO of the Clay Education Foundation. We are the direct support nonprofit organization for Clay County District Schools. We we don't do this alone. Y'all know that. I know several of you have been involved with the Clay Education Foundation and Clay County District Schools. We work alongside Clay County District Schools. Our superintendent is here and supports us. Garber Automall, I see in the back, is one of our biggest supporters. And of course, Michael Rathjen, as mentioned earlier, is on our board of directors. We are a lean organization. We are two of us here. Heather Obermiller is with us as well. She's our VP of program. The great thing about that is that allows us to really maximize our dollars and put a good bit of money back into Clay County District Schools. It also allows us to be responsive. We can kind of pivot and be responsive to the needs. Again, like I said, our goal is to connect community to classrooms. We've got, how many of you have had a kid that's gone through Clay County schools, right? Raise your hand if you're a graduate of Clay County schools. So a number of you, right? And we're proud to be in Clay County. We've got 40,000 students, 5,000 employers. We're the largest employer in Clay County. I have sent a kid all the way through Clay County District Schools. I've got a 10th grader at Fleming Island High School now. We've got a 95% graduation rate. I think we're very proud of, and the superintendent can attest to that. Our history, we've been around for 30 years. We started in 1988. For the longest time, we were a volunteer-led organization, and really only recently, if you remember, Michaela Buchanan was our first paid executive director. And now we'd like to say we doubled our staff in the last year with Heather and I. And why is it important we're here? We want to ensure that students have basic supplies to participate fully in the classroom. So if you're familiar with some of our programs, which I'll get into, we know that if kids are worried about having enough food or having school supplies, they're not going to do well. They're not going to achieve academically. We support educators. And retaining, it's important for us to retain talented teachers and staff. In Clay County, we have 89% teacher retention, which is huge. You don't see that around the rest of the state. Even before the pandemic, about 40% of teachers would quit after that first year. And that's not the case here. We want to create equal education opportunities. So no matter where you are, if you're a student in Fleming Island, or if you're a student out in Clay Hill, we want to make sure you have the same kind of opportunities and experiences. We promote early literacy. So, when we're talking about whether our students are going to be prepared for the workforce, a lot of that starts early, right? That starts in VPK, that starts in elementary school. And increase access to college. I will echo what Dr. Anna Lebesch said. We know that college is not for everyone, but education and training beyond high school is for everyone. And encourage paths to high-wage, high-growth careers. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. So if you look at some of the stats, and this is taken from the Florida Chamber Foundation from the Future of Work, you'll see that we have a lot of work to do with kindergarten readiness, with ensuring that our kids are reading on grade level. You will see high school graduation rate at that 95% that I mentioned is for traditional high schools. So that's the reason why you might see that a little bit lower. But really, what we do at the Clay Education Foundation is really to kind of enhance what they're doing in the school system already. Really focus on those math and the science and reading. And there's a lot, right? There's a lot of needs in Clay County District Schools, but what we do is we rely on data to inform our work. We want to be very intentional in making sure that our efforts are having a lasting impact. We rely on, the Clay County Schools strategic plan. We listen to all of you in the workforce. We listen to teachers, right? Are our programs effective? We do surveys continually to make sure. We meet with district staff about twice a year to ensure, hey, is what we're doing working? Is this making an impact? And then, like I said, pivot from there. So we focus on tools for schools, which Garber Automall is our biggest supporter and houses our tools for schools teacher supply store. Grants for great ideas that we'll talk about. STEM education, again, really trying to drive those math and science. Future Ready Clay is where we're connecting children to college and career readiness, literacy, and teacher and staff recognition. So tools for schools. I know I see Clay Utility has done a school supply drive. Is anybody familiar with tools for schools and what we do? So this is our free teacher supply store. Last year, we gave out over $100,000 worth of school supplies. And the cool thing about that is that with a number of our programs, we receive a state match. So that encourages us to raise private dollars. We get a state match. So any amount that you give is doubled. Last year we served over 1,100 teachers at two locations. So Garber Automall being one of them, the second being in Keystone Heights. And again, that was just based on surveys and need. We knew that if a teacher drives from Keystone Heights all the way up to Green Cove, that takes most of their day. We do these all on the pre-planning days when they're off. Grants for Great Ideas is a really impactful program too. So we partner with Community First Credit Union, and we were able to give $25,000 in teacher grants. And these are all teacher-led, school district vetted, STEM and literacy programs. So instead of a teacher dipping into their own pocket, we provide that. It's a competitive process. I want to say we had probably, 30 teachers apply this year, and we'll open 2 rounds. STEM education. So again, really trying to influence those math and science scores with STEM. And it starts young. So we even start in the elementary school with like cybersecurity and animation. And you think like, okay, so how are they doing cybersecurity in elementary school? And some of that's just like password protecting. So it's really cool to see. And we know, not every kid is going to become an engineer, but maybe it sparks that interest. Maybe it gives them a little bit more confidence. Some of our post surveys, we see that 89% of kids feel like they would take another math and science course. 66% said they would consider a career in STEM. And this is our Future Ready Clay. So how many of you have been involved in the career fair? That number of you? Okay. And I'm sure Kelly Mosley will talk a bit maybe about that. But the career fair, that's open to everybody. So I'd like to encourage you, if you're a business owner or any employer, really come out to the career fair. I want to say we had 2,000 students come through. Last year, great program. A reality fair is something we support as well. That's a VyStar program. We've funded college tours, so our partners at St. John's River State College. We sent 2 groups of 8th graders here this year to go and tour those college programs. And again, that's the Clay Education Foundation funding transportation that wouldn't happen otherwise. We do a freshman expo, so we have a college and career guide that every student gets. One thing that we've heard and going out and talking to students is that there's so many online resources. Right? There's a Google Classroom for everything. But what they don't have is stuff in hand. And so with funding from a private donor and that match from the state, we were able to give every student, we show up at every freshman expo and give every student and parent a guide that has a checklist of everything, all the classes they need to take, what do they need to do to get bright futures. As a parent of a 10th grader, I'm constantly going back to that myself, nervously like, did we get everything? Are you going to be able to graduate? Are you going to be able to get bright futures? Parent Academy is something that's new this year. Again, Clay County Schools really involves parents, teachers. It's all of us working together. Parents can come, learn about college and career readiness, learn about how to support their student. I'm really trying to get parents out there. And again, that student success guide I mentioned. We also connect on our website. There's a whole Future Ready Clay portal on our website that has information. It links to Earn Up, which you learned about earlier, and the JAXUSA partnership. It gives scholarship opportunities too. So I know Kelly will talk about CTE, and really I thought this was just very interesting about the percent of students who are just relying on parents, family, to decide what they want to do with their life. There's our scholarships. We hear over and over that there are scholarships out there and kids don't apply for them. And so I'll get calls. How did I not know about this? We don't have enough people applying for our scholarship. I'm like, You know what's really special about Clay County Schools is that we have college and career coaches in every single high school that works with the students one-on-one. So again, you know, I feel like there's a bit of personal responsibility in there too as a parent or a student to seek out those scholarships, but we offer them. Literacy, so again, you know, working at those, how do we drive up those third grade readiness percentage to make sure that kids are reading on grade level. And so we're doing, providing free books through the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, through New World's Reading Initiative, and we're also working family and community literacy events, working through our Title I schools and our libraries this year to put on events. Teacher and staff recognition, again, Garber Automall comes in. They have given a free car to our Teacher of the Year, which is incredible. So February 8th, we'll be here in the Thrasher Horn celebrating 90 of our nominees for Teacher of the Year and School-Related Employee of the Year. And that doesn't happen without community support. So there's just a little bit of our impact over the last year. And ways to get involved, like I said, I challenge you, if you haven't been involved in the career fair, come out and support Clay County Schools, you know, whether it's through the foundation, whether it's through our CTE department, or even with the individual school. We don't do this without support. So thank you for having me here. I'll be here after if anybody has questions. I'd like to introduce Kelly Mosley from our Career and Technical Education Department.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. I'd also like to recognize Superintendent Broski, who's here in support of all of our Clay County school programs that are on the agenda this morning, and our business partners who will be on the panel later that work so hard to provide opportunities for our students. So this morning, we're going to talk a little bit about career and technical education. How many times on Facebook do we see people make posts that we don't offer the trades anymore? I know you've all seen those posts, but the reality is that we offer the trades amongst many other programs in our Clay County schools. And back in the 80s, the name went from vocational education to career and technical education. While I think everybody thought that was a great idea, I think there might have been a little bit of a disservice, because I think that's why people don't think that we offer those programs in the schools anymore, and they're not making that connection that career and technical education does offer those trades opportunities. So we used to be called vocational education, now we're CTE. It used to be that it was only for just a few students, but now we have opportunities for all students. Students that have 2.5 GPAs, students that are in ESC programs. There are programs, we have students that are valedictorians in our class, and everyone in between. So our programs are for all students. It used to be only for just a few jobs, but now it's for all careers that require some type of post-secondary education after high school. Previously, it was only 6 to 7 program areas, but now we have 17 different clusters. And, you know, you might think of that it used to be, oh, you have to take a track. You're either going to be an academic track or you're going to be like a career track. But our students, they take our classes in addition to their academic programs. So they're taking all of those academic classes. Many of them are taking dual enrollment, IB, advanced placement classes, in addition to our CTE programs. We also offer exploratory programs for our middle schools. So they're able to take a semester class, a different one every semester that is a pipeline and aligned with our high school classes, and expose them and to try to help them make a decision about what they want to take when they get to high school. So Clay County CTE, by the numbers, we have over 120 career and technical education teachers in the entire school district. And as Carolyn mentioned previously, we are blessed to have a college and career coach in every one of our high schools that works as part of our department, very closely with the school's administration, with the school counseling department, and all of our CTE teachers. They're basically like the bridge between us at the county level and the boots on the ground. Because as much as we like to be in schools, and we'd much rather be in schools than sit in our office, it's just impossible for us to be there. But fortunately, we have those college and career coaches that we're able to put you in touch with whenever our business partners want to work with a specific school. We have nearly 40 different CTE programs, and there are several of these books that I've placed on on your tables, and you can see that they go into like what we offer at each different high school. But my favorite pages of the book is in the very center, where it gives a comprehensive list of all the career and technical education programs that we offer, where they're located at the high schools, and then the nationally recognized industry certifications that they're working on. So you can see that we have nearly 40 different programs, and there's a lot of opportunities, and I'm going to highlight a few of those this morning. We also have about 11,000 students enrolled in CTE courses, that's 7th grade through 12th grade, and we have nearly 1,400 nationally recognized industry certifications earned by our students. If we added in what the Florida Department of Education calls digital tools, we would have upwards to 2,000 certificates that our students are earning in addition to their high school diploma and any dual enrollment, advanced placement, or IB or ACE coursework that they're getting. So we'll quickly highlight a few of the different cluster areas, we call them. Agriculture, food, and natural resources we have at 4 of our high schools, as well as Bannerman Learning Center. You've probably seen these students or enjoyed the benefits of their hard work if you visited the Clay County Fair, when the majority of the animals that you see there are basically entrepreneurship projects from our agriculture students in our different high schools. Many of them actually sell their projects at the livestock auction at the fair, and sometimes we joke, Sharice and I, that us and our kids went to school on Florida Pig Paid, and in addition to Florida Prepaid, and that livestock auction actually generates over $500,000 for our students, as nearly 150 of them have those entrepreneurship projects there at the Clay County Fair. So when you see those blue jackets at the fair, those are our agriculture students. We have 4 different automotive programs. We have the automotive maintenance light repair at Clay High Middleburg and Orange Park, and then the only place that we have the auto collision program is at Middleburg High School. We've also gone back to starting to do our community tours, which we halted during COVID, but each semester we highlight a different school. So we did Middleburg last spring. This year we've started off with Fleming Island, which was just a few weeks ago. And then in the spring semester, we're going to be at Orange Park High. So we would encourage you to attend those. They're free to attend, where you can come on campus and you can see the facilities and what our students are learning. But this is where we get into, oh, you don't offer the trades. Well, you can see up here, we offer the trades lots of different places. And we actually partner with Electrical Training Alliance, JAX, and with Northeast Florida Builders Association to offer pre-apprenticeship programs at our schools as well. So we have, the only place that we have welding in the Clay County School District is at Orange Park. We also offer engineering there. We offer 1 HVAC program, which is at Ridgeview. We offer electrical and drafting at Middleburg High School. Those are the only places that we offer them there. But we actually added carpentry to Fleming Island High School last year, and it has been extremely well received. We were very fortunate to have an awesome teacher there, and so we're excited with how well that construction program is going at Fleming Island High School. Arts, AV, and communication, you can see we have a lot of digital design, fashion design. That's the only place that we offer at Oakleaf High School. But there's a lot of TV production, photography for those students that are interested in arts and that kind of design work. Business management, we're kind of transitioning to entrepreneurship with a lot of our schools, and Clay High does still offer a business management program as well. Whenever you hear Michael Rathjen talk about our VyStar programs later, those programs are going to be with these different business programs that we have with these curriculum areas. We all know that there is a shortage and a need for teachers, and so in the Clay County School District, we offer several early childhood education programs where they have on-site VPK centers that are preschools, just like out in the private sector, and they are preschools for children of community members or school district employees. They are not for, we always like to point out, they're not for children of students. And so those programs are for teachers or young people who want to become a teacher. And so we encourage them to do that. We've also added 2 principles of teaching programs this year to focus more on students who are interested in teaching upper level students. Health science. We offer health science at almost every high school in the district. We work very closely with Dr. Lebesch and our partners at CareerSource to look at what the region needs and how we can respond at the school district. And we've done that with health science. So at Ridgeview, we needed to add a program there. And as hospitals and facilities are being built, we know that there is a need for that. So we added health science at Ridgeview last school year. And this upcoming school year, we're going to add it to Fleming Island High School. So every single one of our high schools will have a health science program. Their industry certification that they work on is a CNA, but they also work on the EKG certification in some places, and we're looking to add the CMAA certification as well. Hospitality and tourism, we have several culinary programs. You have probably all reaped the benefits of their hard work if you've gone to Clay Day and eaten those delicious cookies, or they cater many of the events. I joke with them that they are like victims of their own success because they do such a good job and the students are so exceptional that everybody wants to use them. And sometimes I'm like, you guys just have to tell them no, because you still have to teach. And so we have really awesome culinary programs. And when you visit our schools for community tours, you will see that those facilities are commercial facilities, just like you would see in hotels or in conference centers. They're not like kitchens that we have in our homes, like you might be thinking of old home ec kitchens. And then we also offer hospitality and tourism at Fleming Island High School, where those students do different internships. Like most recently, they've done them with the town of Orange Park, and they worked very closely with Emily Dockery there to put on the Orange Park Fall Festival. IT, we have in every single high school, we have computer systems and IT at Middleburg, and then our cybersecurity at Oakleaf. And all of our business classes, the first class that they take is digital information technology. And that's been a shift that used to focus on the Microsoft Office products, but now it's more of the IT side of things. And we've had a lot of transition there with our teachers and our students, making that shift from those MOS skills to more of the IT skills. We have the criminal justice we've had for a long time at Clay High School. They work on their public safety telecommunication as well. And then in the last few years, we've added the EMR program. And in talking with our partners at the Board of County Commissioners last year, we've heard of the need of firefighters. So we've added at Orange Park High the firefighting program paired with that EMR program as well. So that was new this school year, and we're offering a class period of that. So students can take our courses in the beginning of 9th grade until they graduate, and there are their elective options. And so they continue to build. You know, they have carpentry 1, 2, 3, and 4. And in the upper levels, they might take a block where they have multiple classes of that curriculum area, especially for our health science programs where they actually go to the hospitals or assisted living facilities and they do clinicals. Some of them will take 2 or 3 periods of that class. We have our college and career coaches that go out and visit the junior highs. Every one of our junior high students gets one of these books. We also have them available at the freshman expos for the parents. And so we're very fortunate that we have those events. We try to take the junior highs up to the high school. Again, we're trying to create this pipeline. And at the freshman expos, we will have different business partners that have sponsored the book and things like that, so that parents can see in the 8th grade, okay, if my student takes this automotive class, there's a potential for them to eventually get a great job at Garber. Or if my student enrolls at in the health science program, they have an opportunity for them at Orange Park Medical, Ascension, Baptist, etc. And also, just to reiterate, we try to start as young as possible and getting those students to start thinking about those careers, which is why we have them take a half-year class whenever they're in junior high school. These are some of the industry certifications that our students work on in addition to their high school high school diploma, you can see it ranges from the American Welding Society. We have NCCR, which is a lot of the construction ones. ServSafe is culinary. CDA, which is the Child Development Associate. And many of these actually articulate to college credit as well. So we work with our partners at St. John's River to make sure that students know, hey, if I get this industry certification, it might be that I don't have to take these college classes because I did this in high school. So for students, we try to promote to the parents, they can earn their industry certification. Some of our classes have opportunities with dual enrollment and getting college credit. They can do career shadowing, internships, which you're going to hear a lot more about later. They get to go on different field trips. They have guest speakers. We try to make sure that they have the most current equipment that they're using in the industry, and they get to work with professionals in the field. So this is where we need you guys. This is the ask. As awesome as our teachers are and as awesome as our facilities are and the support that we have, there are still situations that we cannot provide, hands-on experiences for our students. And so that's why we need you guys to have interns. We hear so often, man, I really need students. I really need students. Well, then you can't hire them until they're 18. Well, when they walk across that football field at graduation, they're gone. Like, they're not captive anymore. Like, we see them every single day at school. And so if it's a situation where you could start working with them at 16, you could have an employee for a whole lot longer, and you're beating your competitors, quite honestly, ahead of the game by getting them at 16. And so that's what we've done with the panelists that you're going to hear a little bit later. There's also opportunities for you to host the teachers on an externship. After our teachers have taught for a while, they may not be quite as up on what's going on in the industry. So it might be that we partner with you guys to send them out for a day or a week in the summer for them to make sure that they're up on the most current trends and everything that's going on in the industry. We need people to serve as contest judges, and we do a ton of mock job interviews that we have heard amazing results from. The electrical teacher at Middleburg High does not like me to call it mock job interviews, because so many of the kids that are interviewed at Middleburg actually get jobs. And so they, those business partners that are there volunteering their time to do those practice interviews with students, they're sliding their business card or their applications across the table and saying, Tim Mosley's laughing because he knows he's one of the culprits. And so saying, hey, why don't you come work for me? And again, it's a mutually beneficial partnership because those students need that opportunity after they leave high school, and you guys need the students. So that is one of the favorite things that I think that we do, and one of the most beneficial things that I think that we do for our students. We also have opportunities where you can provide technical assistance for our teachers, financial sponsorships, and then participate in career days and career fairs, which I'll talk about a little bit more in just a minute. And then ACE Mentoring is an architecture, construction, and engineering program, a mentorship program that we have at Middleburg High and Clay High that is just now Orange Park High. It's just now getting kicked off, so it's not too late to join there. If you scan that QR code, it'll send me an email, and I will get your information to the appropriate college and career coach. And then we also have that you can serve on the advisory boards. That's basically like the foundation of business partner involvement, where we have the teachers come together. Most of them are virtual. We only meet a couple times a year, so we're talking 2 to 3 hours a year. And we have 14 different ones based on the industry. And so we come together and we talk about what's going on in the schools, what's going on in the industry, and how we can work together for you guys to advise us. Like, we've had circumstances with health science where they'd be like, the last 10 people we've hired, they really struggled with, blood pressure. Can y'all hit blood pressure harder? So our teachers need to hear that, the shortcomings in the workforce, so that they can really drive those things home whenever they're planning their instruction. Also, a lot of the mock job interviews and things like that come out of our advisory boards. And advocating for our CTE programs. We've been very fortunate in Clay County to have a very supportive superintendent and school board, but there have been other counties around the state that, you know, there have been times that you have to have a lot of advocacy for the CTE programs, and a lot of that comes through the advisory boards, but that hasn't necessarily, that's not been the case here in Clay County, as everybody is so supportive of our CTE programs. So Carolyn mentioned earlier our career fair, which is going to be on Thursday, February 15th. We partner with the BOCC, and they allow us to have the career fair at the Clay County Fairgrounds, and we bus any student who wants to go to that event. We give them pizza. We have opportunities for students to enroll, enlist, or get employed. So if they don't have a plan, there is no reason for them not to leave with a plan from that day. We have military recruiters there. We have all sorts of post-secondary education opportunities there. And then any business that wants to come, it's free. If you want to make a donation towards providing them pizza, we'd love that, but we don't charge anything for you to come and set up a table and talk to our students. Another event that we do in the fall of the year is an evening event, and it is the College and Career Fair. That date is usually given to us by the State University System College Tour. We had it at the fairgrounds this year. It was the first time in a few years that we'd been able to have it because of hurricanes and COVID, and we had a huge response by parents and students. So those are two different opportunities that you guys can get involved with, one in the evening where parents come, and then one during the school day that we just have students. And so this February event, if you want more information about that, please email me, and we can, it's very easy to get you on the list for that upcoming event. Please follow us on social media. You can see all the different things that we have going on in our students, and we just appreciate all the support, and we look forward to getting any more support for our students. So if there's any questions, I'll take those before I turn it over to
Good job. Thank you very much. All right. So with that, if our panel of Michael Rathjen, Zach Moore, and Kimberly Richardson would come forward, please. So some of you are, I'm sure, familiar with some of the programs that are currently going on in the high schools and the programs we have today. But we specifically wanted to invite some of the partners that are actively engaged with their internship programs at the high schools going on. I would love for each of you just to kind of go through to give a quick introduction of yourself and your program, and then we'll continue with a couple of follow-up questions. So at this time, Kimberly, ladies first. I'm going to let you start, please.
Kimberly Richardson from Clay County Utility Authority. We actually developed our internship program back in 2016. It started as a somewhat of a selfish need. We had an aging population of water and wastewater operators that were scheduled to retire. And as you know, the wastewater industry is not, not a very attractive industry. I mean, I think it is, but some of your younger generation may not think so. So it was kind of, how do you get the younger generation interested in the utility industry? So that's where we started off, and it actually has developed into so much more than what it started out as.
My name is Zach Moore. I'm with Garber Automall. I'm actually the Director of Variable Operations, so I run the sales side, but we developed a program for the Automotive Academy at Middleburg High School with my relationship with Kelly Mosley and her constant pressure. So once you open that door, just be aware it will not close. No, it's been a great program for us. We had a need for technicians. We needed to fill that need for technicians. We decided to work with the program at Middleburg High School, and we were dipping our toe in the water, and it was working out for us, but not quite like we wanted to. So we developed the Automotive Academy program with Kelly's assistant to enable us to help both the kids and us. We had a problem, we needed to solve it, and this solved it for us.
Zach, I'm sorry. When did you guys start that program?
We started that program 2 years ago.
Okay, good deal. Thank you.
Sorry.
Awesome. Yep. Good morning. My name is Michael Rathjen. I have the privilege of serving as the Vice President of School Programs with VyStar Credit Union. And we started our program back in 2006-2007 school year originally. And that's where we just dipped our toe in after being a part of an advisory board that Kelly talked about. And once we learned of the need that existed and the hope to bring the learning to life and make it as specific as possible, we decided to take a chance. And we started our first partnership at that time. And then the next year, we started our first one here in Clay County, which was in the 2008 school year. And so we have 4 programs here in Clay County. We are in the process of opening our 20th high school branch this year. And this year we offer 216 year-long internships to high schoolers who are a part of their business programs that Kelly talked about.
Michael, real quick before we get off of you, how far and wide, you guys cover how many counties and school systems now?
We do, currently we're in 18 high schools currently across 8 different school districts. We're opening our 19th high school, that's confirmed. And then we're also branching out into the Georgia and Central Florida communities as well. So we'll be at 20 high schools projectively by the next school year in 9 school districts.
So Zach, you got to catch up, man.
Yeah, we're going to get a shot.
I'll say something to Kelly for you about catching up. So, look, doing these programs takes a committed investment from your leadership, both with personnel and with resources involved in these programs. In addition to the employment recruitment aspect of it, what other surprise benefits are you guys seeing for your company as far as the kids and the families starting to recognize what you do and who you are in the community?
All right, I'll go. Actually, it's allowed CCUA to become more involved with the community. We participate in a variety of events, and through those events, we're able to talk to parents and kids and tell them what we do and get them excited about the industry. It's allowed us to grow talent. So it's created a variety of benefits for us that were completely unexpected for us.
Yeah, I mean, our commitment to community, especially the school systems, has been large. We feel like investing in the Clay County school systems and the future of Clay County is important to us. We've done that for a number of years through a number of different programs. The Middleburg Automotive Academy has really opened us up to so many other individuals in the system. In the CTE program, we weren't reaching that group, and it's been wonderful for us. So their involvement not only through the CTE program, but through other programs that we have in the school systems and at the school level, as well as the Garber level, has been incredible for us. So it's been a great program for us.
Yeah, and I know you asked what other benefits we've realized outside of the talent development, but that's huge. I mean, for a team member to be ready, not just day one, but minute one to start working in your organization is completely different than I don't know what the national statistic is or local statistic, but I think it takes somewhere around 7 days for a new hire to be just integrated and feels comfortable knowing how to sign in and start to perform their task. So when we bring on someone who's come from our program, I mean, they're ready immediately. And so that's a huge return on our investment. One of the biggest returns that we had that we didn't anticipate was just all the positivity. It's interesting when you start to do the right thing for the right reasons at the right time. The positivity starts to surround it naturally, and it's positive PR for the school as well, which the more positive relations they can have and the more positive news that can be fed out to the community, the better. So our CEO at the time estimated we had around $500,000 worth of positive PR the first year we launched the program, which is huge. And of course we didn't start it for that, but we did. And then the loyalty from our team members. So the ones that we do bring on as team members, they tend to stick with us because we took a chance on them in some cases when they were 14 years old. And so the loyalty is very high for those who do decide to stick with us, which is nice. And then if you're interested, as and I don't know if Zach was alluding to this, as you get involved with the school, you start to get some insight into a segment of your community that you might not have otherwise had. You get to see the day-to-day inner workings, you get to get feedback on what some of their struggles are. And for example, with Garber Automall taking the chance to give away a free car to teachers, like they leveled up the support they were already providing, and there's no strings attached. And that became, by them getting more involved, they went, okay, how can we make even a more meaningful difference? So a lot of great things come by way of this type of partnership.
I would like to add, and I apologize, but the business partnerships that we've developed, which I certainly didn't talk about, but the relationships that we've been able to develop by working on these programs together at the school systems has been incredible for us as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Zach, since kind of leveraging off on that, so you guys are relatively new in doing this. You've done it a couple of years. Hindsight, what have you learned from this on the corporate scale, and what would you do, or where would you like to see this go as it continues to develop out?
Really, it's kind of endless for us. So the development of this program, the Automotive Academy as a whole in the nation wasn't there. So we really went into this blind. We couldn't find any other organization that had attempted this at a high school level. So we really had nothing to open the book on and say this is how we need to make it work. What we did have was VyStar and Michael Rathjen, who really laid out their groundwork. They brought us all their information and kind of laid it all out to us and allowed us to go through it. Without that, we would be years behind. We were years ahead because of their help, which obviously shows their genuine desire to continue to improve the ability for these children to learn and to give us a workforce that we didn't have before. So our biggest struggle was just learning how to develop the program from the ground floor, finding the right people to help us. So we have a teacher that teaches for us, that we hired, that works with the school system, works with the current automotive teacher, and then continues the program after school. We hired that individual. Finding that right person that could work with kids and help them grow was difficult for us as well as for the school system. So, good deal. Mm-hmm.
Kelly wanted me to ask, do you see it expanding to multiple schools from here?
I appreciate that.
Sorry, Kelly.
You know what? I think that, and I'm glad you asked the question. I think it's as important for us to do that for us and for the school system, but there has to be a need and desire by the individual schools, and there has to be that kind of support. Mm-hmm. And as we grow this one, I think we'll start to see more of that, but there has to be a genuine need and a desire from the staff at the school for us to move forward with the investment that we make.
So, and I will put an attaboy in there. The equipment and the resources it takes to structure an automotive maintenance shop is pretty robust. So, so we appreciate your investment into that, and the school system is truly a public-private partnership on that side. So, Kimberly, any surprises from you guys as you've expanded your program?
Well, I mean, just the sheer excitement from the students, I think was one of the biggest surprises for us. I don't know how many of you have done interviews in the past, and either your applicant doesn't show up or your applicant shows up and they've done no research on your organization, or they don't even know where they're interviewing. We've interviewed people and they've told us how happy and excited they are to be interviewed by Clay Electric. I'm like, oh. Well, I tell you, we did intern interviews in October. We did 12, and all 12 of them were, I was like telling Jeremy, I'm like, can we have them all? Can we take them all? And he's like, no, we only have 6 spots. So, I mean, it's pretty impressive. The students that Clay County is rolling out is extremely impressive. They're very sharp kids.
Easy question. Softball question. Success stories. Tell us about one or two of the kids that came through the program that you were like, wow.
Did I just get one? Because I have at least 4 success stories, and I hope by the next time I'm here, I have probably 6 more. And I am going to go with my 4 success stories. Like I said, we started the program in 2016, and 2 of those employees just celebrated their 6-year full-time employee anniversary, and one just celebrated their 5-year anniversary. Wow. All are licensed operators and have excelled in ways that I could have never imagined.
We only have 2 years, so I know that after I say this, Michael's going to just give a plethora of success stories. But we had an individual that came to us 2 years ago, right from the beginning of the program. He was actually involved in our launching of the program. We had Ms. Broski out there, and we did some interviews and things like that to really kind of promote the program, and he was one of those interviewees. I was talking to him the other day. He's become our full-time mobile technician at Garber Automall as we expand into that. And when you talk to them, I think the success stories of the students is really at Garber, they're kind of like rock stars. When we tell people, hey, they're from the academy, people are like, really, that's awesome. Like, they really become the rock stars of our store. So everybody, we have 10 employees from the program that work for us now, either part-time or full-time. And I think the success of all of them and that rock star kind of, I can't believe you went from there to here, and we're so glad to have you, is really a part of the success of the whole program.
Well, just if I may, though.
Go ahead.
Because there's a lot of work that goes into supporting these types of programs to the level that we have collectively, but it's worth the work. And just this last summer alone, we hired 19 students who graduated from our programs. We've hired 88 so far that have come through the school system. There's a little bit of a lead time because they can participate as early as a sophomore. But there are way too many success stories to list, because just in the mock interview itself, that student is better prepared for their future, regardless of whether or not they make it into the internship. And then, of course, those who come out of the end of that pipeline from your internship, they have such a huge head start, and they're even better prepared to enter the marketplace, that it makes it all worth the time, effort, energy that it takes to pull these programs together.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I was not a big advocate from the internship program in the beginning. I was like, oh my gosh, we want to put kids at water plants. Are we sure we want to do that? But as time went on and I saw the return on investment, I quickly became an advocate for it. Like I said, it's just the talent that you bring in, the open-mindedness. I mean, so many benefits to it. It's just endless. So
my dealer partner, general manager, is here, so he knows that I am the advocate for this program. So I advocate for all the programs that we're deeply involved in the school systems. I'm passionate about it. My opportunity in the school system was incredible, and I didn't take advantage of it. So I like to make sure that we offer that to everybody. As far as ROI goes, I don't know that it's measurable. With the marketing and the workforce and the exposure that we get through these programs, I don't believe it's measurable. So it's indefinite. It continues with us. We can continue to grow the program. We have a resource now that we've never had before, and we have employees that'll be lifelong employees for us. So it is immeasurable for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And for us, our original leadership team at the time was just willing to take a chance. And I think part of that had to do with he was a former math teacher prior to getting into financial services, so he understood some of the dynamic within the classroom. And since then, our senior team has turned over 100%. But our new group of leaders have only doubled down the support of what they've learned as they entered our organization, how meaningful these types of programs are. So thank goodness. But by the time we had leadership turnover, we did have enough data to pull from too. Because if you're just looking at this on a spreadsheet, it is very much a lost leader, and you do have to take a chance. But it's definitely again, it's worth the time and effort, energy, and you just have to do your best to see through that not everything that counts can be counted, and the more difficult or the more meaningful something is, typically the more difficult it is to measure.
if I may circle back, in Dr. Lebesch's presentation, she said that if you bring in an intern, that they will be the advocates for your program. They will tell people about it. That is 100% true. A couple years ago, we participated in a career college night at Middleburg High, and we're setting up a table, and we're all ready to go. And I see a group of probably, no exaggeration, probably about 20 boys walking towards my table, and they're all just so excited. They're like, "Hey,
our friend got a job here, you know, and we want to work here. So, I mean, like I said, you don't really get that out of some of the people that you interview now. I mean, to have the excitement and they want to come work for you. So, I mean, I think once you get an intern, they're the biggest advocate for you.
So the whole premise of this panel discussion was for you guys in private sector to say, hey, we can do this. There's a footprint, there's a model, there's resources, there's availability. And so we want you to be able to go back to your organization and say, hey guys, have we ever thought about and discuss it and bring in the school system and bring in the training and bring in these partners that have already done it? And how do we footprint this throughout the community? Everybody good? Thank the panel. We appreciate your time. And with that, I would like to invite Ms. Rachel Walker.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rachel Walker. I am with Clay County Adult and Community Education. Real quick, how many of you in here has ever heard of us before? Okay, that's not too bad. It makes me feel a little bit better. But I am pleased to be here today because I'm going to share with you some of the great things that we are doing out at Clay County Adult and Community Education and a little bit more about who we are. So we are a post-secondary institution that falls under the umbrella of Clay County District Schools, but we're the adult side. Okay, so people come to us for a variety of different reasons. We always encourage the K through 12 students, of course, to stick it out through high school. But if that is not the best route for them, there's a couple of different options that they have with us. So we do GED classes. So if they are not slated to graduate from high school, things aren't quite working out for them, then they can come to us to complete their education and earn their GED, which is recognized by the state of Florida. When they finish with us, they actually get a certificate from the state of Florida. It's equivalent to a traditional high school diploma that's accepted at the Florida State Colleges. We also do ESOL courses, and ESOL stands for English Speakers of Other Languages. So if you are in need of staff and some of the staff that you are hiring does not speak English very well, you can send them to us. We have English classes for those individuals. Now our GED and ESOL courses are offered in the daytime, they're offered in the evening, and they are now offered virtually as well. The ESOL course, we just ran our first kind of like pilot cohort of a virtual ESOL class. It has done very, very well. What we did find is with ESOL, we've seen an influx of Haitian individuals and Spanish-speaking individuals as well. And so they are looking for a place to improve their English skills, but they are unable to get them in places like Baker County doesn't have an ESOL program, Putnam doesn't have an ESOL program as well. So we decided to expand and offer one virtually to reach some of those other students. The registration for these two classes is currently open for the next trimester, and we are doing very well. We also do GED and Pearson VUE testing, so when the students are ready to take their GED, they can come and test with us. Pearson VUE also includes things like CompTIA. There's a litany of other certifications they can come and take with us too at our testing center. And that testing center is open on Tuesdays and Thursdays throughout the day. We also offer career certificates, workforce training, and then transition services. So to talk a little bit about GED and ESOL classes and our numbers now, we are definitely growing. There is a huge push from the governor to be the workforce state by 2030. And so they have trickled some of that responsibility down to post-secondary institutions like ours to be able to offer GED classes on top of career certifications, which I'll explain a little bit further. So what we are seeing is also an influx of people registering for their GED to get out there working if they don't already have one. Right now, and our registration's been open for about a week, we are at 173 registrants for our GED and ESOL programs alone. Our last trimester, so it was from August, and then Friday will be the last day. We had 412 total registrants that come through. For our GED courses, we had 228 people that registered, but 121 of them were marked as brand new students. For our ESOL, we had 184 students register, and 109 of them were brand new. So we are seeing new students come through and get the training that they need. Also, to give you an idea of the completion, this year, from January to December, and we're still testing, we've had 59 completers. So that means they've taken all 4 sections of their GED and they are done and out there pretty much ready to work with that minimum education requirement for most jobs. And we have 29 students participating in graduation next Wednesday. We do celebrate our GED graduates. They get a cap, they get a gown, they walk across the stage. It is a very emotional moment for a lot of our students because most of our adult students are showing their families that they could do it. They're trying to encourage their sons and daughters to continue school and promote the value and importance of education. Now, if we compare that to last year, we had 28 completers and 16 people that walked across the stage. So that number is definitely going up. One of the highlights of this year's graduation as well is we are also going to honor our career certificate recipients for this past fall. So on top of our 29 GED graduates, we are going to allow our certified phlebotomy technician students and 911 dispatch students to be recognized at this graduation ceremony. So it's going to be a lot larger than usual. And we always encourage members of the community to come out and see what we do. So if you are interested in learning more about our graduation, you want to come out and see our graduates, you are more than welcome to reach out to me. My information is at most of these tables here. Career certificates and IETs, which stands for Integrated Education and Training. This has kind of been a huge focus for us over the last year and a half. We currently offer these programs as career certificates and integrated education and training programs. The IET means they are focusing on their literacy standards and workforce skills on top of these industry certifications. So they can be going through some of these programs or most of these programs while also working on their GED. So we have certified nursing assistant, 165 hours, 16 weeks. So that's about 4 months worth of classes. What you'll notice is that most of these programs we have designed to complete in 4 months or less to get them out there working. That's about the length of a trimester for our program. So we have certified nursing assistant, we have certified phlebotomy technician, we have public safety telecommunicator, we have a paraprofessional, which we have developed specifically for the school district to help with some of those staffing needs. And then we also have a Microsoft Office Specialist program in which students can earn certifications in Excel, Word, and in PowerPoint. Now, with our CNA program, or most of these programs, the last year or so were scholarship funded, which has been a huge help over the last year and a half. Our CNA course, we had 10 CNAs go through the program. All 10 came out certified. We had phlebotomists that went through the program. We had 10 that went through. 8 did come out certified. The NHA exam is quite difficult. And then we have another cohort getting ready to go through and sit for their tests this week, as a matter of fact. So fingers crossed that they do well in their exams. And those certified phlebotomy technicians will come out nationally certified. Public safety telecommunicator. So we've had 16 dispatchers come out as certified by the Department of Health. And some success stories on this. I really try to pump this up to our students because a lot of people don't know how well a lot of dispatchers out there are paid for something as little as a career certificate. We've had one student get a job at St. John's County Sheriff's Office, making $50,000 a year with a $2,000 sign-on bonus that went through our program. We had another student that got hired at JTA, making $26 an hour dispatching buses. So we try to tell students it's not just emergency situations. There's a whole cluster in transportation logistics in which they can work and get paid pretty well. Paraprofessional. With our paraprofessional, we are helping the school district with Title I schools that need certified paraprofessionals to work there. We did run this program last year. We had about 28 paraprofessionals come out of the program. We had an 89% pass rate for our students to take the certification exam and come out working. Microsoft Office Specialist, this was the first trimester we did it, so it's still a work in progress. I don't have good data to give you right now, but we do cover the cost of their first attempt at each subject exam that they take, and it's only $30 to go through the program. It's a trimester in length, and they can re-enroll every trimester until they earn those certifications. A big part of what I do is transition services. So I am the coordinator of workforce development, which means I've got to push into classrooms and prepare these students for the workforce. So I come into the classrooms and I talk about things like resume writing, interviewing skills, how to write an elevator speech and network, how to search for jobs, how to explore careers, and more. So most of the students that come through our program will see me at some point, kind of like an adult guidance counselor in that way. Now, we do have a lot of students in our program, so I don't get to see all of them, but my door is always open. So how can we help you? So of course we have employee pipelines. If you guys are looking for dispatchers, if you're looking for CNAs, phlebotomists and such, come talk to me, because I have people that have either finished our program or on their way out the door that you could possibly hire. Customized training and upskilling. So if there's a specific workforce skill that you see that your staff is missing, or some of the people that you want to hire is missing, you can come talk to us as well. We are given a little bit more leniency in how we can develop some of our programs. So we may be able to fill some of those needs for you. And then on-site GED and ESOL classes are available as well. If you have a large group of non-English speaking students where it may be easier to have classes where they work, then that's a possibility. These are all options on how we can help you. How can you help? Spreading the word about what we do. Student recruitment. We are always looking for more students and growing our programs. Classroom space and teachers, just like CTE, teachers is one of the hardest roles to fill for us because we cannot compete with the market rate in most cases. And then some classroom space. We are actually connected to Orange Park High School, so we share some of their classroom space. And with the growth of the community, classroom space is kind of tight right now. So that's an area in which we need some assistance. But the big takeaway today would be student sponsorships and scholarships. Those scholarships for our career certificate programs will not be available next year. And that has made a huge difference in seeing the success of these career certificate programs in the community. A lot of individuals that come to us cannot afford traditional schooling. They don't want to take out loans to go out to a traditional school. So what we need are sponsorship packages, things like that, to help with tuition, to help with uniforms, to help with books, any pieces that can help make it more affordable for people to go through our programs. And to give you a better understanding of some of the partnerships that we have, for the customized training piece, Clay County District Schools, with their paraprofessionals, we've developed a program with them to have them sit for the test, but once they go through it, they come out with a $400 bonus if they actually receive their certification as a paraprofessional. The school district also helps to pay for the books, the teachers, but we manage the program and we find the instructor and all of that. So we're able to customize that training for the school district. An employee pipeline, LabCorp is our clinical rotation partner or a job shadowing partner for our phlebotomy program. And so for 2 weeks, they're out there to get their necessary sticks and hopefully end up with a job by the end of this program. And as far as GED and ESOL classes, we actually partner with an organization called Eckerd Connects. And they help our students ages 16 through 24 get their GED paid for. They may help with paying for the GED class tuition or even additional training by going into one of our programs once they finish. If you have any additional questions about our program, I will say there's a folder on most of your tables. There's an educational partnership flyer that has a QR code on it. If you'd like to partner together, it takes you right to a Google form. You leave your contact information. I'd be happy to reach out to you. But it also has our brochure with the class schedule breakdown and then some information about the career certificate courses that we do offer. So I want to thank you guys for your time today. My contact information is right down there at the bottom, rachel.walker@myoneclay.net. And then we also have social media accounts in which you can follow as well. All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and introduce Dr. Nate Southerland, Assistant Vice President for Workforce Education.
Thank you, Rachel. It is 10:55. So in conclusion, I am not going to share everything I have prepared to share. Laura told me that the slides will be distributed to you. The slides, for my part, talk about the programs that we offer. We offer a variety of programs specifically to prepare people for the workforce. I'll let you look through these on your own. I'm going to kind of just go through. Here's the takeaways. First of all, we want to partner with you like you are partnering with the K-12 schools. There are lots of opportunities for you to be engaged with our students in a way that will help them come to work for you. Secondly, if there's a program we don't offer that you need us to offer, we want to know about it. And third, there are opportunities for us to come to your place of work and provide training to your employees in everything from first aid, CPR, leadership development, project management, data analytics. If you have a need to train your employees, we can come and provide that training, and we can help connect you with CareerSource to help fund that training. So what I would like to ask is that you think about how we can partner with you and you can partner with us to continue bringing folks into you and to continue upskilling the people that you have. So, I'm not going to talk about all that stuff. Go ahead and look back at the slides, and I will turn this over to Charlie. Thank you for being here today.
For almost 50 years, the Northeast Florida Builders Association has led our region in developing the most respected, skilled craftsmen through their registered apprenticeship program. Through 100% tuition-free training by industry professionals, NEFBA has helped connect Northeast Florida's leading builders with motivated individuals seeking to earn while they learn. Help continue to grow our legacy by applying with NEFBA to learn the high-demand skills that will allow you to build your future. Visit us today at nefbaapprenticeship.org or call 904-421-0296 so we can help you learn, connect, grow, and lead.
So that's kind of who we are and what we do. Mr. Brodsky, you might recognize that voiceover as the famous John Strumolo right here in Clay County. So my name's Charlie Libretto. I was literally talking to my mother on the way in this morning. I said, Mom, I've come so far. I literally drove a mile from here in Greenwood Subdivision. And my wife, right next door on the street over 31 years ago, we met each other for the first time. So it's been an amazing journey. I was a former teacher for CTE, high school football coach, and became athletic director at Ridgeview for about 8 years. Before my friend in cohort, Ms. Thomas, called me and said, hey, I need you over here. We're switching gears from college football to sending them to an apprenticeship program. So I don't know about you guys, but at the time I had no idea what an apprenticeship program even was, but I do now. 6 years later, we've gone from 181 apprentices to, we had 472 apprentices across 5 trades. So I'm not going to go through all of this stuff. I'm going to take your lead, your good doctor, and but you see over 475 across 5 trades. Those trades are everything from carpentry to electrical to HVAC, plumbing, and sheet metal is our latest trade that we added. We actually have an electrical campus right here on college. Several of our contractors are in the room today. They can tell you, just like I can, we're always in Clay County schools trying to pull graduates into the apprenticeship program and get them working first. And then they get their college paid for free. So what do you need to come into our apprenticeship program? 18 years of age. I can get them in as high school graduates at 17. They have to have a GED, which is where Ms. Rachel comes in, or a diploma. And you can read all that other stuff later. But we did a signing day when I first came out, and I was like, hey, all these athletes get to sign. Why can't we sign some people? And so we started the signing day. And it was very popular, and so we've kind of carried that forward. We talk about 100% debt-free education. A real quick story that I'll tell you. I had a kid graduate from Ridgeview High School, played football for me. He was an offensive lineman. Went into HVAC with Holland AC right here in right off of college as well. Graduated, and 2 years later, he started his own HVAC company. And the first guy to come out and service my HVAC system, yes, Tim, was Brian Bragg. So what an amazing opportunity for these high school graduates. My son is 25 years old. He's been doing low volt electrical for the past 6 years. Bought his first house at 23 in Riverside, $200,000 fixer-upper. It's worth about $380 now. He's 25, he's got his own work van, and he's going to school at night online through FSCJ, for their cybersecurity program, and the company's reimbursing him. So I have 2 degrees, my boss has 2 degrees. We're not anti-college. Why not get to work and get your college paid for so you're not walking away with, like I did with my MBA at JU, at $30,000 in debt. So if you can help that, and by the way, I always recommend, hey, go to a state college, you can save some money, absolutely. So with that, I'm not gonna run through all of these. I'll show this last one. So that's a Richard High grad on the right. He also played football for me. This is sheet metal. And that's kind of us in a nutshell. Any questions that I can answer? There are other apprenticeship programs, obviously, around here in Jacksonville that we encourage to get the word out about apprenticeship programs. They're a great deal. Most of them are 4 years in length, and most of them are absolutely for free.
Well, I'm going to backtrack a little bit too. My name is Katie Vineyard. I'm the incoming CEO for Challenge Enterprises. Nancy Keating, which maybe I know Dave King knows her very well. Nancy is retiring after 50 years. So thank you for being here and letting me share a little bit about Challenge Enterprises. We're a nonprofit. We've been in Clay County since 1972. We have a rich, long history. We have many partners, one being the Clay County District Schools. I want to show this little video that we made that shows a day in the life of a participant or employee of Challenge Enterprises. Individuals living with disabilities. It's a cute video, but maybe I'll keep talking while it's playing. Can you hear me? some of our programs, we have an adult day training program in Green Cove Springs. We do supported employment, and that's really what I want to talk to you about. We have a residential program. We do a lot of work. We have a Shred for Good business. It's a secure document destruction business that's out of Green Cove Springs. Our guy, our CSR, he started out as a janitor and he wanted more work. He wanted more money, just like the rest of us. So he stepped out of his comfort zone, and now he's our driver of a 26-foot truck, and he's all over Jacksonville and Clay County. Hopefully you've seen the Shred for Good truck. Clocking in, clocking out. We got a new timekeeping system finally too, by the way. That's the guy I was telling you about, who started out as a janitor. He gets a lot of recognition for what a great job he does. The supported employment that I want to talk to you about, we are a vocational rehabilitation vendor. We are also involved with Clay County District Schools. We're the job coach for their transition programs. We're out at Project Search at Kendrick Hospital, Project Wolf out at Penny Retirement. We do other things out at Penny Retirement as well. We do their grounds maintenance for their campus and their golf course. We're also, Transition Works has a new program. They tag themselves the Bears. And what's good about the transition programs, that's another pipeline for our workforce. We're training them, we're coaching them to be the future employees that you may need. Now, you can call it an internship program. VR calls it an OJT, on-the-job training. It's basically the same thing. But if they come through the VR program, the participants get paid by Voc Rehab. So that means as an employer, it'd be no cost to you. We have had a success at Seagrass a couple years ago. And what we wanted to do when we went out to Seagrass and we met with the business manager, the job coaches told them what we can do. We wanted to model it like what we do out at Project Search at Kendrick Hospital, where we have 7 to 10 employees come out there and we would coach them, and also the other co-workers teach them the job, just like an internship program. And we had a housekeeper, maintenance, dining room, activity assistant, all different positions. And the good news from Seagrass is that they hired 5 people, and there's 4 still employed. So that's the good news of that. So that's just some of our programs, and we'll keep moving. We have a lot of business lines. Hopefully y'all have heard of Challenge Enterprises. I know a lot of y'all have. We've been around a long time. We do a lot. Some of our customers, we're out at Penny Retirement. Safariland, we sew. We have an industrial sewing. That's fun that we sew the pouches for bulletproof vests. Everyone's very proud of that. All of our employees are very proud of all the government work that we do. We feel like, I guess, we're in the military. Work is power. That's how many hours we worked last year, people with disabilities, 201,000. How about those wages? We paid over $3 million in wages to individuals with disabilities. $16.20 an average wage. That's going up to $17.20 January 1. And we employ 242 people with disabilities. Now, I know we also say with different abilities and things like that, but I just wanted to be perfectly clear on who we're talking about, the folks that we're talking about. This is how we can help you: on-the-job training, OJT, internships. It's paid work for the individuals. We're out there coaching. There's also placement services as well. Also, we can do contracts, just like all the different government contracts we have. We have a contract with Penny Retirement, the county. We just, our newest contract is with the Parks and Recreation. We're doing all their grounds maintenance. That's exciting. So what I really want is for you to contact Challenge Enterprises so we can come out to your business, talk about it, see what we can do, what kind of OJTs we could work out with you. One of the coaches asked me to let everyone know that we're really looking for a retail partner. We want to do an OJT in the retail arena. That means that we have somebody coming through the program that is looking for that type of work. So I left some information out there for you, but also challengeenterprises.org. Please reach out to us. We'd love to come out and assess the situation, your job situation with you. Thank you.
A couple of people to thank real quick. Number one, our keynote sponsor was Florida Power and Light, FPL. So we greatly appreciate FPL's support of the program this morning. Also, the Thrasher Horn Center for the facility. And Laura, again, excellent job. Thank you very much. So I'd like to thank again all the presenters that took the time to present, also our panelists. And wrapping it up, that Clay Florida Economic Development Corporation, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, we will let you know when this is available online, and if you would like to use it in your organizations, you are welcome to do that. At this time, I would like to say we are dismissed. Thank you.